Hi, everyone. My name is Alicia Grace, and this is a radio show. Thank you so much for your patience and just holding on while we got everything together. We're getting a little bit of a late start today, but honestly, I don't think anybody is ever truly here from the beginning. But if you are, let us know because I don't know. I just want to know. Anyway, if you're wondering how would I let you know that I am here from the very beginning, we have a Discord chat happening live with the show. What you can do is go to any of our social media profiles or Linktree/This Is Perfect Harmony. Find the invite, join the chat. There's a little thread that says Head in a Bin, which is our guest tonight. And you can chat with other listeners, chat with us. So let us know. Let us know if you're here and if you like things to start on time or not. I don't know. We upload all these episodes to YouTube after the broadcast. Sometimes it takes a few days, sometimes it takes a few weeks, but if you don't like the guessing game, you can follow us on YouTube and you'll get automatic updates when the new content comes live. So we'll have last week's episode up here in the next few days. But yeah, let's dive in tonight. That's enough about the other stuff. So tonight's episode is brought to you in part by Culminate Presents. Thanks to them and their kindness and their love for the underground. We are supplied with some fancy mics and a mixer for this evening. So be sure to keep an eye on them. They're going to be doing a lot in 2024. And yeah, you'll want to be a part of it, witness it. We'll drop the links to their Instagram in the Discord chat. And then for tonight's guest, we have team members from Head in a Bin. We have Paul, Jonas, and Nate joining us tonight. Thanks for being here, you guys.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for the opportunity.
I am so excited that we get to dive into this tonight. I feel like a lot of the questions I have prepared for y'all are really just things I've been curious to know, but I have maybe been too nervous to ask. So what do? I ask it in front of a bunch of people into microphones, and we can all get over the vulnerable learning moment. But for those of you who are tuning in and in the Discord chat, we do have a special little giveaway for you. We have a track download from the Head in a Bin team called Patience. So we'll throw that link in there for that free download on the Discord. Okay, so when y'all sent this track over, you titled it The Artist Head in a Bin. Did you produce it together? Who, like, what, how?
Jonas and I do a lot of producing on our own as like solo artists, I guess you could say. I just like a year or two ago, I retired my personal alias, which was Illudium. I was doing a lot in Minneapolis under that name for the last few years, and I put that to rest. And now I'm focusing more on this type of style, like this track. If you listen to it, is more of like a dubwise style. And any of the productions I've been working on since then are going to be titled Head in a Bin, and the intent is to play them at our events on our system. But Jonas has been doing the same thing, and we've been collaborating on a lot of these. So like if I have something that I started and haven't finished, I'll send to him and vice versa. And this track is kind of a result of that back and forth process.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's pretty fun. I think once you have like an artist name, it gets really hard sometimes to like move out of the genre that you're kind of working with. So under like Bear God, I really try to just do dubstep and like 140 to 160 like bass adjacent type stuff. So being able to just do kind of dubwise and reggae and stuff like that under Head in a Bin is I don't know, a lot more freeing than having to just kind of be under my one alias.
Yeah, cool. Well, let's give this free download track a listen. Yeah, let's play it, and y'all go ahead and snag that for your collection. Yes, this track is called Patience. Okay, that was Patience by Head in a Bin. For those of you who tuned in partway through that song, there's a link for a free download to that in the Discord chat. So please go get it. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. That is a special gift from the guys to y'all. So yeah, maybe say thank you. I don't know. So let's just take it back. We're going to go real far back. And I'm going to give y'all just a very quick look at sound system culture before we get started. And I'm sure these guys could explain it so much better, but and please y'all chime in on anything I miss, but I really want to like dive into the history of y'all. So sound system culture started and originated in Jamaica in the 1940s and 50s, and folks would build their own speaker systems to bring music to people in the streets. And the phenomenon took over the UK and then the United States, making a significant impact on electronic music and hip hop. And then we have what we have today that a lot of us are familiar with of varying levels through our participation in electronic music. Did I do okay? Was that a good, quick summary?
Oh yeah, absolutely. One thing I would like to highlight is what made the demand for sound system culture necessary in the first place was nightlife culture. So there would be these nightclubs that would be patronized by, like British visitors, like basically like the colonizer class, and they would have strict dress codes. They would have, entry fees and all that, and it was with a desire to get away from like the kind of capitalist roots of nightlife culture to make it more accessible to people and, make it more like family oriented. So like you could bring your family and just come out and dance and have a good time. And it wasn't focused around like alcohol or substance use or cover charges or dressing up. Like it was just all about just bringing that experience that we all know and love to a place where it's accessible to literally everyone. And that's kind of been our motivation as well, like keeping in that tradition.
That is a great input to add, because I mean that's part of the tradition and like what we see a lot that y'all are kind of holding up and keeping going today. So could each of y'all, before we dive in a little too deep, tell me your name? Oh gosh, I feel like a preschool teacher. Tell me your name, where you're from, and your favorite color. No, you can include all that if you'd like. But just let us know who you are and what your role is with Head in a Bin.
I'm Paul. I'm the owner-operator, and I'm from Minneapolis.
Nice. Are you like from here? Or?
Yeah, I was born here. I spent some time living in other places and then came back.
Always come back.
But, yeah.
So I'm Jonas. I'm co-owner, and I do mostly logistics. And then I'm from Stillwater. So.
And driving. Jonas is kind of our designated driver.
That's important. That's hard work. All right, Nate, a little bit about you.
Yeah, I'm Nate, and also from Stillwater. So I know Jonas and how I got into doing all this. And most of what I do is set up and set and strike and plugging stuff in and stuff like that. So extra hands.
Nice. So when was Head in a Bin founded? When did that start?
I think around 2016 was when we really when we started like buying equipment and making plans. But even before that, it existed as a concept in a notebook I had for many, many years. I was really influenced by like when I started getting involved in the scene in the Twin Cities, and Skyway would put on those big events, and they would always have that one weird room called the sub room that like I kind of found it by accident one night. I didn't even know if I didn't know where I was going, and I found myself in this tiny room with these huge plywood sub cabinets, and it changed my life. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to be that guy. But yeah, in 2016, I bought our first pieces of gear, which I found on an online auction, and we had to make 2 trips because all I had was like a station wagon, and we drove up to Aurora, Minnesota, to pick up our first pair of subwoofers and an amplifier. And then I brought those to like a little local music festival, and then it just kind of blossomed from there. We kept accumulating gear, and it's just slowly grown into the monster it is now.
That's crazy. Okay, so from another auction, did those people use their their subwoofers and things the same way you intended to, or was it a different pace, you think?
I think all the stuff from that auction came out of a church.
So no.
So
You've gotten a lot of stuff.
like yes and no. I mean, setting up the sound system is kind of religious for me, so.
How did y'all pick your name?
Oh man. It just came from the the idea of like being that kid in the front row at the show who shoves their head in the speakers because they just can't get enough of it. Like that's the vibe.
Yeah, I love that. So this sound system is something that sounds like you are kind of always building on and always adding to and creating. Did any of you have like a experience in that before diving into this, or has it kind of been like learn as you go?
It was very much learn as you go. I spent a lot of time before making my decisions about what kind of gear we were going to use and what direction the build was going to go in. I spent a lot of time on like online forums.
Yeah.
And there's tons out there. Actually the guy behind the Void speaker company started a few of the online forums himself and is still to this day like a resource for DIY builders.
Nice.
But yeah, it's been a very organic process. A lot of the stuff I've found, pretty much everything we have is either used or reclaimed and refurbished in some way or built by us. And it's all just happened very organically, and that's kind of the way I like to let everything happen, like all our event bookings and everything. Like I don't really advertise. I mean, I have the Instagram, but we just like people know what we do, and they reach out to us when they know that we're the right person that they need.
Nice.
And that's how I like to let things flow.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I think, it comes across in your words, and also just like the events too I've been at that have had the system, and all links back to that, like organic and DIY from the ground, like step away from capitalism. That's really cool. What have been some recent additions you've made to the system?
Oh, so the most recent thing was so we've been running Altec Lansing horns for our high section, the bigger 511s and the smaller 811s up top. And recently I replaced the 511s with some JBL Selenium. They're like the big biradial horns. And I found some 2-inch compression drivers for those on Facebook Marketplace. And then when I met the guy who was selling them, it turns out they came out of the old First Avenue sound system. So they were,
no way.
Yeah, these guys like built those boxes for like the stage monitors and everything themselves, like back in the 70s. And he was telling me all these stories about the old sound company and the experiences they had. But yeah, the 2-inch drivers that now drive our like vocal and high range section came from First Avenue, so they've had like Prince, the Rolling Stones, like they've got crazy history. So I thought that was pretty fun.
Adore that. That's like very Minneapolis.
Yeah, and it
like,
ties
that's
back
like
into the
Minneapolis
local
as it
culture.
gets.
Yeah, so it feels good to have that connection too.
Ooh, that's exciting.
And all the drivers we use in all our cabinets are JBL, and most of the cabinet designs are JBL Altec Lansing Heritage.
Wow. Ooh, I love that. Yeah, I'm not a very technology minded person, and it just it seems like there's so many different components that go into this that can be so easily looked over when you're just like speaker, like
Yeah.
it's making noise. Yeah, so yeah, kudos to y'all for like taking that time to like dive in and learn about and like build it yourself.
I mean, I'll be real. I've been doing this for like 6 years. I really do not know much about speakers. Like, it's always kind of been like Paul's domain. Like, I'm good at like putting out fires and like driving places and like talking to people who don't want to talk to us and stuff like that. So it's like, that's
The
kind of my role.
peacekeeper.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
So something in my kind of like research about sound system culture is something called a sound clash. Could you describe what that is, and if y'all have ever participated in one, what was it like?
So from what I understand, they were at the beginning they were more like competitive in nature. Like there would be all these different builders, and then they would have beef with each other, like who had the toughest sound, or like who could pull the most like crazy dub plates, or it was not only was it like kind of a competition of whose speaker boxes were better, but like whose music selection was better as well, and who was in contact with like the hottest producers at the time. We've in the few meetups that we've been able to organize and participate in, like I've met up with Substance in Milwaukee for Rylathon's memorial. We put our systems together for that one. I met up with Headway Hi-Fi at the same venue where we each had our system in the room. But it's more collaborative than competitive.
I like that.
Yeah. It's more about just getting together and having a good time, and just kind of taking the whole like beef out of it, really. Like we're not trying to, no beef. We're not trying to compete. We're all just we all want the same thing at the end of the day. So that's, at least that's how we've been doing it in the Midwest. I know that there's some hardcore like sound system culture out in New York, and they probably still do the competitive thing, but that's never really been my vibe.
Yeah, I like that. Kind of repeating myself with the very Minneapolis comment, but very Midwest of us. Like, can't we all just get along?
Exactly.
We're just chilling. We just got speakers.
We just like really big sound on really big sound systems.
Yeah,
Right.
It's simple at its core.
And I'll be the first to admit, like, as far as specifications like wattage and SPL and all that goes, hadn't been is probably pretty low on the food chain, because that's never really been my focus. Like
Yeah.
I was more about like the high fidelity sound and like staying true to that like JBL like cinema quality sound. So we're actually pretty low wattage when it comes to most other systems. I think we're like just under 1800 watts total for the whole system, which is pretty low. But I mean, anyone who's been to our events can attest, like it gets loud enough. It's loud enough.
So you mentioned New York as kind of another hub for like sound system culture. Where else in the United States could you maybe say you've noticed a kind of into this culture?
Milwaukee, 100%.
Yeah, Milwaukee's been popping off. Like the Midwest, particularly.
Headway, absolutely.
There's a lot of crews that have been popping up very recently around the Midwest area, and like around Denver, of course. Demdea Sound System, Pomegranate Sound System. They've been around for a long time. Steel Yard in Ohio, they've been holding it down for a long time. They were one of my inspirations when I was considering designs. They have some of the same Altic Lansing horns that we do. Spook Audio, Headway Hi-Fi. Who else? Substance. But they just B12 in they're what, Kansas?
No, B12 is Grand Rapids. They're out of Michigan.
Oh, right. Who am I thinking of? Harvest Hi-Fi in Nebraska. Yeah, the Midwest is really popping off. It's really caught on, and it's all just that same idea of like, we just want to have fun, We just we're tired of corporate events. We're tired of corporate EDM, and we just want to do the thing.
Yes, I can get behind that hard. So when I started going to raves in like 2012, and they're kind of warehousey-esque. It was in Dallas though, so obviously none of these areas we've kind of listed. But I have zero recollection of anybody ever advertising or even acknowledging who their sound person was.
Right.
Now, has it been like a recent come up, you think, in this like appreciation of all sides of the music scene, or was I just like not paying attention? This has always been right under my nose.
From my perspective, it felt like it was, at least for us here locally, it was Infrasound who was like Function One Sound and like, made that seem important. And it is important 100%, but I felt like they were the first event series that I really saw highlighting that. And now they've added more, like they've brought Hennessy Sound, they brought Void, they brought Element 5. And yeah, I feel like that is kind of more of a recent thing in probably the last decade is your sound brand is almost as important as your lineup.
Yeah.
And like it catches people's eyes. If it's something they've heard before and they know that was a good experience, they want that again. Or if it's something they've never seen before, maybe they want to come check it out. But I think people are really starting to notice and appreciate like what a different sound can mean for any event.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think like the first thing I remember seeing anything even about the sound was like Excision's Lost Lands in 2017.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like that was the first like major thing I saw that said like, and I don't even know if it said brand because like X number watts of bass.
500,000 watts of PK.
Yeah, no, he had like a tour like that. Like even like I think 2012, 2013, where it was like, yeah, he was like advertising the PK system. But I mean, I think it's different. You know, I think that's more of like a marketing invitation.
Yeah, look how.
Yeah, like look at this crazy big number we have. And
yeah.
Like PK sounds good, but I think what's happening now is that like Paul said, I think the systems are becoming as important as the artists on the lineup. Which is also becoming as important as who's actually promoting the show.
Yes.
So being able to just have it, have that collaboration and community just makes it so much less stressful too. I don't think any show that we've ever done for Culminate has ever been stressful. Like, I mean, it's like there's normal
always been
stuff. Like,
such a good
we gotta
time.
move the system, we got to set it up, we got to do this or that. But it's always felt like a collaborative event. So.
Oh yeah, Kevin and Alex are by far the easiest people to work with I've ever had the pleasure of meeting, and it helps that they both have a lot of experience in the event industry that we can all just stay level-headed, and yeah, it's really a pleasure working with them.
I really appreciate y'all's note on it being important, all the aspects that go into the event, and I think I don't know, I think we look at a lot of these like bigger acts that are touring with all their just high numbers, but nothing, no come up, no nothing like that. And it's kind of, I watch it roll out all the time, and it's encouraging to hear fellow heads in the scene kind of being like, oh no, we all care about all these different aspects of it. Like it is. I think it's just really important. That we care about all that stuff. Yeah. I don't know. Open thought.
At the end of the day, it's just about the experience for us. Like it just want it to be a good time for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Do y'all have any, like, what is the most unique or crazy place you've ever set up the sound system?
That's a good question.
Or memorable.
Oh, I don't want to bring up the Komodo show again.
Do it!
It was everything about that night was like so perfect, including the horrible, awful weather. It was like everybody got like locked in there until like 2:33. It was like we're hanging out, we're all having a good time. It's not, I don't know. It was good.
That was a good one. I'm thinking about Vital Vibrations. Do you remember what year it was?
16 or 17. No,
it was
like
more
19.
recently.
That was like 2019.
Yeah.
Far back.
I got an invite from Devin, who was working with the people who organized that festival, to just pack everything in the trailer and come out and just have fun for a weekend. And I was like, all right, cool. So we showed up. The festival had already been going for at least a day or two.
Yep.
And so people were like well into festy mode, you know what I mean? And then we pulled up with our trailer full of speakers, and everybody's looking at us like, what's going on? And we set it up back deep into the woods and just ran it for about 48 hours straight.
Oh my God.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that was a really fun one.
I kept waiting for somebody to come tell me to shut it down, and nobody did. And so we just went with it.
That's cool. What are some of the challenges of setting up outside, though?
Making sure that you have a reliable power source. Definitely number one. It's been on my list for a long time for us to purchase our own generator, but I've been renting. Shout out Hiawatha Ready Rents. I go there for almost every time I need a generator. but yeah, making sure and keeping fuel in the generator. I've had that happen before where you get in party mode and you're just enjoying the sound, and then all of a sudden everything goes dark. It's like, who filled up the generator last? Was it you? Was it me? So yeah, there's a lot to stay on top of, even when you want to have fun. You got to make sure that the wheels keep turning.
So, in addition to picking up a generator and gas, what other things do you have to do to prepare for an event?
Tarps and ratchet straps.
Very, very important. Very important. Yeah, I think like outdoor events too. I mean, you want to obviously keep it clean, but it's just difficult. You know what I mean? So that's just like a known annoyance is like, after you do outside deployments, you got to like clean everything real good, and you'll still have like dust from last time, and like, shout out Champion Sound, because I have seen their rig very gnarly, and every single time I go, it's complete, like, just perfectly
just
pristine,
spotless.
spotless.
It's fresh,
excellent,
off the
fresh
train.
paint, just like, every time, like.
That's a lot of work. A lot of work goes in behind the scenes to stay looking up like that. That's part of the reason I chose the kind of rough and tough, like scrappy look that we have, is because we don't have to work so hard to maintain our cabinets.
Yes.
People expect to see them scraped up and scuffed up. And that's just kind of the vibe.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
They got a lot of that like trail spice, chips from all over the place, and
What do you guys have to do? I mean, in addition to the cleaning and the painting, but what else does it take to like maintain these systems to like keep them like sounding good?
You gotta test all your equipment regularly. You gotta make sure all your cables are good. Like, nothing's worse than having a cable go out when you're trying to set up for an event.
Or not being able to find one.
Yeah. Yep. Keeping track of all the inventory for sure. And I think at least 3 or 4 times we've blown a subwoofer at an event, and then you have to go get it repaired before the next event. And yeah, just a lot. There's a lot of upkeep and maintenance that goes on behind the scenes for sure, just to make sure we're always ready for something.
Where do you store them when you're not using them?
Currently, everything's in my garage.
Okay, nice.
We used to keep it at Jonas had a house in River Falls, and we kept it all in the basement, and that was always fun when we had to load out.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
But yeah, we finding a space where we can store everything and use everything has been on our list of priorities for a while now. But I'm just kind of waiting for the right opportunity to come along again organically, like the rest of it has. But yeah, right now everything's just kind of chilling at my house, taking up half my garage.
Oh, no. Does it do okay in the cold?
Yeah, it's fine. It's as long as it stays dry, really.
Okay.
Yeah, and what I like to do, I try to avoid doing events in winter. We used to take stuff year round, but we had some pretty scary drives with the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I try to take the winter off and then get ready again in spring. But what I like to do for like, if it's the first event we're having in a long time, I try to set up early and then just play music at like a medium level for a couple hours just to get the whole system kind of warmed back up and moving again. I take my leaf blower and like blow all the dust out of the cabinets before I load them into the trailer, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's actually surprising how much of a difference. Like there's like a 2-hour mark, I feel, where we hit what we call the sweet spot, and it's like all the drivers in the cabinets have warmed up and they're all feeling loose, and like there's a noticeable difference in the quality of the sound.
Really?
Like you can kind of tell, like, okay, it's ready to go now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's kind of like letting your car warm up for a while.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So do you just like ever like just bring one inside and listen to music while you're just chilling, or do you use like a Bluetooth speaker at your house?
I wish I could. No, we've got a couple Bluetooth speakers at the house, and we just recently set up a little like phono vinyl listening station in our dining room. So
nice.
We've been using that a lot. But yeah, I've got kids, and we don't really rock out at the house too much. Sometimes, like if we're having system maintenance days, I'll throw a couple pieces up in the driveway, and we'll play music outside.
Fun.
Yeah.
What do the neighbors think? Like when you open your garage, like, or do you even have neighbors?
Yeah, my
Sorry,
neighbors
getting more
across the
personal,
alley,
but-
they're like, "Are you guys in a band?" And it's like, yeah, sort of. No, but we live in I live in the Powderhorn neighborhood of Minneapolis, so everybody's really cool. I've never really had any problems, and I try to keep it respectful too. I'm not like blasting it.
Yeah.
But also right next to us is a really large Hispanic family living right next door to us, and they have like a lot of birthday parties and stuff, and so it's like it's really no big deal if somebody has some loud music playing on our block. Like it's kind of the norm.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, hey, why don't we listen to a song? We've been chatting for a minute. Jenna, why don't you cue up a track? Why don't you do one of Jonas's songs, Bear God? Yeah, let's see which one it is.
Lansing Soundboy.
Oh, yes.
Lansing Soundboy. Jonas, tell us a little bit about this song. Everybody kind of giggled. That like made me really happy and excited for this song.
I don't know. I think I was. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I gotta get closer. Okay.
Keep the mic.
I think when I was like listening to that tune as I was driving back from Grand Rapids the first time, and you drive through Lansing, Michigan, or like you drive by the sign for Lansing, Michigan, and I was like, oh shit, Alltech Lansing, dude, we got to do a show in Lansing. And so, yeah, I think when I got home, I'm really bad at titling tunes. It's just kind of like just typing stuff up. But yeah, that's more of like a kind of reggae dubwise inspired tune.
All right.
But
Let's go.
That's one of my personal favorites.
All right, and one of Nate's favorites. All right, let's hear it. All right, that was Bear God. Yeah, sorry, I got really distracted by the cat there for a second, and I thought we avoided the noise, and anyway. I think our listeners kind of enjoy the cats in the background, though, I think.
Oh, yeah. It lends a vibe of authenticity for sure.
it does.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the system itself and setting it up and, you know, some of y'all's experiences with it. But for each of you, what is like one of your like personal favorite like subgenres of electronic music that is kind of within this whole sound system culture, or maybe your favorite genre, or maybe even a favorite track to just blast on the system?
Definitely for me, I stick to the 140. I had a very not really a knowledge of electronic music at all back in the day, and then I got asked to host some dance nights at the like the local spot where I was living for a while, and so you know I would just go online and get like whatever, like Lady Gaga remix or whatever, and then I met someone at one of these dance nights, and she was like, have you ever heard of dubstep? And I was like, who is that? And she's like, come here, and she shows me some UKF. This was back in like 2009 or something, and it just blew my mind. I was like, that's it, like that's it. And
This is the
so,
sound.
I went way down the rabbit hole. Some friends showed me the Get Darker web series, and I got really into that. And of course, that's where I got introduced to like the classics. And I've always been motivated to, when I play sets, to show audiences that even if I'm playing like a dubstep set at a club night, like I'm gonna try to show the audience that reggae is where it all came from. So I like to go with the reggae influence tracks. As far as what I like to play on the system, every time we do a sound check, I always play a track by Lass called Malfunction. I think it's on that flash drive I gave you, but yeah, that's the one I go to more often than not. I know Nate has some good selections. What do you got?
Oh man, honestly, it depends on how I'm feeling. Usually, I try and go for some more like W stuff. More often than not, unless I'm like playing on a bill with Paul or Jonas or something along those lines, I usually try and sneak a bunch of their tunes in. I also try and sneak in a bunch of like I try to lean more towards like the local stuff, just because I try to like boost more of what Minnesota and the Midwest and the Twin Cities and stuff like that all has to offer and stuff like that. So big up Bump Records, especially. They have a ton of really, really sweet tunes on there, and all amazing artists. Whenever they do a compilation, I try and grab it right away just because I know it's going to be good music. But one that I try and sneak into my sets every time is Shoot, it's a shuffle dub.
Oh yeah.
That was I think that was a Push Waves.
No, that came out on Bump.
Was that a
Yep,
Bump
was
one? Okay.
The first compilation I think that came out on Bump.
And then another one I've been putting in regularly now was the one that Jonas mentioned earlier. I have a special exclusive that he was cool enough to make for the Himalayan dub.
Yeah, that track we just played, that's a deep edit of Himalaya dub that only we have.
Ooh.
We use that for a system tester as well.
Nice.
But I also can't think of most names right off the top of my head right now, and most of it I just try and lean towards anything friends send me or friends make and stuff like that. I try and put it in
back
there.
to the local. Back
You're
to the
a big
local.
Die by the Sword fan.
I'm a huge Die by the Sword fan.
Yeah.
Big up Die by the Sword. Oh my goodness, absolute phenomenal, crazy producer. I love all of his tunes. Not
All
a
right.
single bad one, but
Jonas, who you got?
yeah.
I think most of the time, I sound check with one of my tunes called Green Crack.
Yeah.
But I play a lot of Distinct Motive. Play a lot of Distinct Motive. Play a lot of Pharma. I think my favorite producer though, and one that I pretty much have put in every set for the past 5 years is Ago, AGO. Absolutely phenomenal. Hands down favorite producer. So usually I have 2, 3, 4 Ago tunes in any dubstep mix that I do.
Nice.
Those are always the ones where I come running to see what he's playing. What is that?
Something you mentioned, Paul, that I really appreciate is, making sure you pay homage essentially to reggae tunes because of the foundation and the root of the whole sound system culture and and even dubstep. That's kind of where it all came from. But why is it important on a deeper level? Why is it important to kind of make sure we remember the roots, or why is it important to you?
Man, that's a really good question. I don't know. I'm kind of a nerd in the music that I like, where I like to know where it's coming from. If I have a favorite band, I'm going to find out what their favorite bands are, and if I'm listening to something, I like to be able to kind of mentally trace it back through all the different styles of music back to where it came from, and I feel like going back to the roots is a good place to get inspiration from, rather than trying to take inspiration from what's happening in the now, what's popular now or trendy now. I feel like it's better to just take it back to the roots and get your inspiration from there, and then you're guaranteed to have something good. And yeah, without all the hard work that they did in history, and we wouldn't have what we have now. We wouldn't even have EDM. I feel like the first time you see the word producer used as something in music, it traces back to sound system culture, and it's really the reason we're all here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's cool, and I think there's so many circle backs here too, because when we talk about seeing producer on thing, that's something we've even started to see more in the I don't know, we're seeing it a lot everywhere now, but it's goes back to that kind of the base of it, and making sure that everybody gets acknowledged throughout this creation, and seeing who's a part of it. Yeah, I
feel like even with pop music, you're seeing that a lot more, or especially with hip hop, people are becoming a lot more aware to who's producing the music.
Yeah,
and that's great.
I'm here for it. So with your sound system in particular, do you always do electronic events with this system, or do you find yourself doing hip hop events or weddings or anything else where someone might need a sound system?
Yeah, I've never really been into trying to take on any kind of event. Like I said, with the whole organic process, it's pretty much the events where we would be most appropriate at is the ones you find us at. And it comes from a couple things. It comes from me working 2 jobs and having a crazy schedule, and only being available for what I really want to do.
Yeah.
I also don't have the capability to like mix for a live band or anything like that. So it's always gonna be like just a DJ setup, and if it's a DJ setup, it's gonna be bass oriented, 140 oriented, pretty much most of the time. But we do really enjoy drum and bass. Like when we did the Mungo's Hi-Fi show, that was a lot of a heavy drum and bass night, and that was very fun. Techno sounds really good on the system. We've had a couple opportunities to have a couple guys play some techno like out in the woods, and that was just incredible. But yeah, it's pretty much always going to be a bass DJ of some kind.
Does the way okay, how do I phrase this? Are there different, do you build speakers differently for different genres? Like, does it take a different type of speaker for preferably electronic music over a live band, or is that more so disconnected from that?
It's all about the frequencies you're trying to hit. So the audio frequency spectrum is just like the visible light frequency spectrum. There's different colors, and some music only plays down to like yellow. Some music plays down to red. Some music plays all the way down to purple. And if you have a speaker that's built for green, it's not going to play purple notes. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. So live music, generally, you're going to find the fundamental tuning to be down around like maybe 45 hertz at the lowest for like the kick drum and the bass guitar. I think standard tuning for a 5-string bass goes down to maybe 30 hertz, which is pretty low. And so for anything deeper than that, you're going to need like large subwoofers to be able to reproduce that sonic frequency. So that's why that's the area I feel like you see in the hardware and the gear that's being made today. It's you definitely see a push for a stronger low end in a lot of these brands that are making new products, because the modern bass music scene, it just keeps reaching lower and lower. Like, yeah, we want that subsonic frequency. We want to feel it. So yeah, definitely.
You could say we want to put our head in a bin.
Absolutely.
Have there ever been any artist play on your system that you were just like, whoa, this is happening?
Oh my God, so many.
It's
most recently, King Shiloh.
Yeah, King Shiloh is crazy.
My biggest regret for that event is that we weren't given more time. We had to shut them down like right in the middle of their set on the second day, and it was heartbreaking. I kept telling them like, hey, if we find an after spot, I'll go. Like, please, like, let's keep it going. We had Distinct Motive. We had DJ Mad, which was a huge one for me. Soul Slinger. What about you guys? Who do you remember the most?
Again, big up Culminate. They put me on with Drum Terror.
Yeah, Drum Terror.
That was a crazy
Drum
show.
Terror.
Joe Nice. We've had Joe Nice 1 or 2 times.
Nice.
Had Tycho.
Yep.
Tycho was tight.
Komodo.
Komodo. That's absolute bucket list. Like, it's I don't know. At this point, I don't know. It's hard to think about. Yeah, it's I'm just, I don't know, unimaginably grateful for all of these experiences that we've had. Like every single time I like tell Paul, or I'll tell like Kevin or something, and I'll be like, yo, this is like another bucket list booking. Like, this is like,
yeah, it just like keeps building on each other.
Like, how could it possibly get better than like right now? And then, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, we'll have just like another just super sick booking.
Can't forget Mad Professor.
Yeah, Mad Professor. That was we had 2 different nights with Mad Professor. We did one at 56 Brewing. That was kind of an official event, and then we did a pop-up at the Speedway in GFS, like George Floyd Square.
Yeah.
We did a pop-up there with Mad Professor. Like,
very humbling.
Very humble. That was also just, very crazy. Like, really, really hard to like think about. Like, even when you're there, like watching it happen, it's like,
I never could have imagined this.
Yeah.
What is something you've learned about yourself through this like experience of music and speakers, more specifically?
I don't like dancing, but I like watching people dance. Like, that's like it. Like, it's not for me. I've had people come up to me at shows, like multiple shows, and just be like, "Are you okay, buddy? Are you depressed? Like, what's going on?" I had some guy at Infra like take a Snapchat video of me, and I heard it from another buddy where it's like, "Is Bear God depressed? Does he even want to be here?" And I'm like, "I'm just watching my friends play music. Like, I'm chilling. Like,
Right.
don't worry about me."
We just spent 3 hours like lifting all these
Yeah.
boxes. We're just chilling.
I'm just chilling. It's like I already got
We're
anxiety. Like, just leave me alone. But my favorite part about the sound system, beyond the cool artists, beyond getting to play music, is just being able to watch this greater community kind of just come together. Like, we get to do sound stuff pretty frequently. We get to DJ all of us individually pretty frequently. We get to do a lot of kind of cool stuff. So it's just really. I mean, just again, like humbling to watch people just enjoy the system in between the rest of their life.
Right.
Like this is our whole thing. Like when people go to a Head in a Bin show, they're with us for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and just being able to provide an excellent experience, a safe space, and just like a good community and camaraderie is, I think, the most important part. Like, it's cool to have shows. It's cool to make money. It's cool to do, have like longevity as a business. But more importantly, I just want to see people like happy at our events. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah. What about for you, Nate? What's something you've kind of like learned this whole experience?
I think for me especially, kind of bouncing back off of what Paul was saying, I'm a big fan of like music history and stuff like that as well. Being able to be part of said greater community, I think has been like the most like enjoyable experience, and also just being able to see so many cool artists and individuals be able to play on the sound system. It also, I think one of the cool parts with like the history aspect for me is like coming into this, I was still very much so like my core roots in music especially is like punk rock and heavy metal and stuff like that, and I was very much so like enjoyed being able to be a part of the DIY scene and being able to have people come together to make something awesome happen. And Jonas was the one who first invited me to help like move speakers and stuff like that. And you can see like the direct like cross of paths for like both the punk rock and both like DIY sound system and stuff like that. So it's been like a really, really fun experience to be able to like partake and be a part of it in my own like experience and stuff like that. And also be able to meet like so many cool people and individuals along the way, and being able to like, I don't know, to a certain degree, I enjoy pushing and building the system and stuff like that. So it's like being able to like put some actual like physical labor into it feels like really, really good.
Yes. So. Feels good to like see your work, like you do something and it wears you down, and see it actually be built up in front of you.
Exactly. So
what about you, Paul? What's something you've learned about yourself through all this?
Patience. I've learned one of the most important lessons I think I learned is something that started happening early on and took a couple of years to really sink in, but like figuring out exactly like where is our place in this ecosystem of events and music, and kind of like learning like what our lane was and to stay in that lane. There was a while where I didn't really understand like just exactly what kind of events we wanted to be involved with, who we wanted to work with, that kind of thing. And there was, especially around COVID, there was a lot of frustration about like not being able to get on events. And honestly, it was a lot of just learning, what I keep coming back to, like the organic process, like just kind of like letting go of my expectations and just letting it happen. And whenever I'm really able to do that, that's when like the best experiences happen. I feel like just those nights where it feels like everything just came together in the right moment. Yeah. This guy was in town, that guy was in town, like it just worked out super well and everybody has a good time. Like when you just let go of your expectations and just leave yourself open to serving the opportunities that come your way, that's when I feel like you have the best flow and the best time.
Yes. Letting go is hard. Would you or any of you have advice for someone that's like maybe listening to this episode and like, oh, that sounds really cool, I want to get involved, or someone who's, want to get involved in sound systems on a little bit of a deeper level? What would you tell them?
If you want to build sound systems, I think you should start buying speakers. That's like, it's simple as that. Just like start small. It's really easy to get overwhelmed looking at stuff online and looking at like forums and stuff. This is part of why I'm not necessarily like a speaker guy. I'm more of like an events guy. But it's overwhelming. It's really overwhelming. You have to be
very intimidating.
yeah, you have to be like into it. So I think really it's just get some speakers and have fun with your friends and just build from there. If you want to be a speaker nerd and build Paraflex systems and go all out and do the thing, like absolutely. I think there's, like room for it. I think everybody should do what they want to do. And then I think if you want to make music and DJ, I think you should download Rekordbox and pirate FL Studio. Like point blank, like pirate all of the software you need to use, and when you are comfortable and want those updates, buy it and give back and do the thing. But these big corporations are not helping you out. There's nothing they're going to do for you. And that's it. I think you just got to do it. You just got to get out there. It's like riding a bike or learning a skateboard. It's like anything else. The more time you put into it, the better your output will finally be. Like for every 100 16 bar loops I put together, I'll have maybe like one tune that I feel comfortable enough even like exporting. But I always think of it as just like practice. It's like if I was learning to paint, I would just be painting. I would be like learning the muscle memory and the motions and doing stuff like that. So I think it's all the same.
Yeah, like universal.
Yeah,
very universal.
Just got to do it.
There's a lot of audio purists out there on the internet who have very loud opinions about this and that and the other. And I would just say take all of that with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, trust your own ears. If I had specific advice to give someone who is considering building a system, I would say start with your lowest frequencies and work your way up. Choose your subwoofers first, and the rest will follow. Because you want something that's you want a collection of speakers that are gonna work well together, and you don't want a lot of frequency overlap and stuff. So I would say start at the bottom, because that's where you're gonna spend the most money. You need the most amount of power. Start with the subs, work your way up.
Nice. What about you, Nate?
Have patience. Like Jonas said, a lot of it can be very, very intimidating. I've been in the process of trying to work on even just planning out a sound system of just like a small caliber in itself, like just trying to envision it, and it takes time, and there's a lot to learn, and it's also a really fun rabbit hole to fall down. So, but yeah, have patience and get ready for a lot of lifting, and always stretch beforehand.
You
have a favorite stretch?
Honestly,
I don't think I've ever seen Nate stretch. I'm gonna be real.
Just trying to touch my toes.
Trying to touch your toes.
Yep.
Heard.
Yep.
Heard.
I think he's the only one in Hednabin that can probably do it. You and Adriana, I think that's it.
Not me.
So tell us, it's obviously Hednabin is a lot more than just you three. There's a bigger team here. Let's talk about this team. How did they come about, and shout them out, and what's the funny story about each and every one of them?
When I was first had the concept for this back in the day, it was myself and my friend Carter, who we used to hang out at Barfly a lot, and he's since moved away and is doing his own thing, but he was a big supporter from day one. I met Danny out at festivals out near Fargo, and Danny and Kenny, two guys on our group, both live out in Fargo out that way, and so we try to network with them out there. We try to work with what is it, subculture?
Yeah, subculture.
Yeah, we try to work with subculture whenever we can. It's been a little while. Nate's partner, Adriana, has been an invaluable addition to our team. Both of them have. So yeah, we're kind of, and it used to be when Jonas was out in River Falls, it was Jonas and his friend Charlie.
Yeah.
So we've been pretty much from River Falls, Wisconsin to Fargo, North Dakota is kind of the reach of our individual members, and that's kind of our playground for now. But
Nice.
We're always willing to stretch out a little bit.
What's the farthest you've ever traveled with the system?
I brought back in the early days when I just had those first pieces I bought from auction. I brought those with me to a festival out in West Virginia that we did with Old Ghost Records, and we set up like a little renegade out there with just the record label guys, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, that was just in the back of my Ford Windstar. Took out all the seats and shoved the speakers in and filled the gaps with camping gear, and we did the thing.
And yeah, it sounds like the more you've grown, the more local it's gotten, and that makes sense, honestly.
It's hard to make those long drives.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah. In the beginning, Jonas, you really mentioned driver as something that was very important.
Yeah, I when we kind of first got started and we had just too much stuff to fit in the back of Paul's station wagon / like my car and stuff. I bought a truck, and then my gramps was nice enough to let us use his trailer for 6 consecutive years.
Shout out.
One weekend of letting us borrow it. Right now we're still kind of trying to figure out some different stuff. I had since no longer have the truck, but that's just kind of how it goes. So yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine I can't imagine having like something like so precious and something that means so much to you and transporting it. I have a school bus that I'm converting. Ooh. And I've been working on it for a while, but let me tell you, I will have the biggest just moments of anxiety, getting ready to hit the road with that thing. It's I put so much time and money into this thing that if some fault, not even of my own, maybe of my own, but it could be any of these outside factors were to impact it. Yeah, I don't know what I would do.
There's gonna be some time in the next few years where you're driving it and just find yourself just flying around a corner, just not caring. Your stuff's flying all over, and it'll be cathartic. It'll be nice. It'll just be like, I live here. This is my shit. After a while, obviously you want to be careful transporting the stuff, but after a while you kind of know the limits of how much it's really going to be bouncing around in the back, and the limits of where you're going and stuff. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just, yeah, one day you'll just kind of care a little bit less. You'll know what you're doing,
Become one.
Yeah. You'll be like, we're good. And you'll just, yep.
Well, yeah. Well, let's take some questions from our Discord. If any of our listeners, anybody in there has any questions you want to ask the guys, throw them on in there, and Jenna will weave through them and pull them and get them to us to ask. This has been a lot of fun, you guys. I'm learning a lot, and I know for me this is my own, and my own ish, but I don't ever want to be seen like I don't know what's going on, So it's been really cool being able to sit here and chat and be okay, I can ask all these questions because I really don't know what's going on, and definitely a little bit more appreciation for how everything comes together. But I think it'd be time to listen to another song. What do you think, Jenna? You want to hit a track?
I'll hit a track.
All right. Yeah, and y'all throw those questions up in the Discord, and we'll get to asking them when we come back from this musical break. And we're back. That was another Head in a Bin track. And during the break, Paul was sharing with us a little bit about the origins of it. Paul, take it away.
That's Hugh Mandel, Run Revolution. It's an old reggae tune that I just took some samples from and built a bass heavy track around that we could play on the system. I showed it to Joe Nice once, and he really dug it.
Nice.
So that felt good.
Okay, so let's chat about the future. What do y'all got coming up? What are you excited about?
Well, we're just starting to take bookings for 2024. I've got a few lined up for February and March. Nothing's announced yet, so I'm just going to respect the promoters and keep those under wraps for now. But one thing we have been talking about as a crew is I think we're all going to go out to Prairie Pothole this year. I don't think we're going to bring the system, but just like as a team, I think we're just all going to go and attend that festival and just like reconnect with a lot of our friends out there. And
Where is that one?
I'm looking forward to that.
That's in Fargo or Bismarck?
I think it's Bismarck. Yeah, it's out that way in North Dakota.
Nice. Oh, a little team building activity. That
Yeah.
sounds like fun. Is that lineup out yet? Is that anything?
Not yet.
I don't think
think
so,
it is.
no.
Like they're still in the planning phases of that one, but usually they have the pretty much the same weekend every year, or like within the same couple weeks. So
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, it's that time of year. I feel like I blinked and all of a sudden, like every festival I ever forgot about was dropping a schedule this week.
yep. Saw like Infra just posted there.
Today.
You can get their tickets on
Today.
Friday now, and I'm like, that's pretty soon. Like, wow,
Yeah.
that's coming up. It's just at Equinox, you know.
Any other events that y'all, just for fun that you're like, oh yeah, I'm super stoked on this one, or this is one that people should be checking out?
Yeah, no, nothing specific yet. I've really been taking a break this winter to like focus on stuff at home. So we're kind of slowly gonna shake the snow off and start making some appearances around town this spring. Hopefully we'll be branching out to some states this year that we have not yet visited. We'll see if that works out or not, and that's really all I can say about it for now.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh man, it's like pulling teeth with you. Sometimes I ask like, and it's fine. I totally understand respecting that stuff. But every now and then we get a talker when I like ask one question and I'll get like 4 back-to-backs. Well, I'm not supposed to be telling you this, but give it to me. No, that's really cool that y'all have a lot of things on the horizon, both, as friends and as a team. And what is it like maintaining a friendship while also working on Head in a Bin? Is that something that kind of just comes naturally, or does it challenge it? Or how do the relationships?
No, if anything, I think it's made all our friendships stronger. It's been nothing but a great experience.
Yeah. What advice would you have for someone that's like, working with friends or wanting to work with friends to like build that community and make something happen? A little more specifically from my last question, but
I would say that don't get like maybe don't have too high expectations. Like don't worry about what the person next to you is doing. Just make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and helping others as much as you can. And I say the thing that ruins most relationships is expectations.
Yeah. That's solid. That's really solid. Yeah, I know. It takes special types of relationships and expectations to kind of be working on those things. Jenna and I have been friends for a long time and doing this radio, no, not the radio show specifically, but the platform since 2017. 2017?
About as long as us then.
Yeah, and it's like it definitely builds a different type of friendship and connection that like I think can really only come from like working towards a common goal. So I'm always like interested in what other people's experience has been with that, because sometimes it's hard, you're like trying to like be professional and also be friends and maintaining boundaries and stuff. But it's like really encouraging to hear like, you've been doing it just as long and like trucking.
There's been a couple times where Jonas had to get a separate hotel room because I was snoring too loud.
That did happen.
Those
Shout out whatever hotel we were at in Fargo. Paul was snoring all sorts of just so loud. It was. I'm sorry, buddy. It was insane. Okay, so I go downstairs. It's like 4 a.m. and there's like little hotel fella, and I'm like trying to explain like, hey man, I just need like a room for like 4 hours. I'll pay it. It's all good. He just gave me a key and was like, there you go. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Bless. Thank you so much. But I think in friendships, especially if you're trying to work with people, trust is like the most important part. And then, really just trust. Like beyond anything else, like no matter how frustrated I get with Nate, Paul, Danny, Adriana, like anyone in our sound system, or like most of the people we work with in general, like no matter how much I get frustrated with them, I trust you guys. Like that's like point blank. It doesn't matter if we're like yelling at each other about something or like, you know, not talking for a few weeks. It's like I trust you guys. Like, you know, not just with like my work stuff, but just with like my life and my friendship and like my emotions and stuff. So you know, I don't know. We've, you know, had various different, you know, friends come and go, like working with the sound system. And you know, Nate's I think been working with us for like maybe like 4 years. Adriana's been working with us coming up like 2 years, something like that. But you know, I don't know, it's just trust. Like if you know, if I didn't feel full trust with you, it's like, why I'm not gonna involve you with both my work and my life and all my other stuff, you know. You don't really have to trust everybody you meet, but when you want to do something long term as a business or just as friends with a project, like I don't know, that's got to be like kind of the most paramount thing, just because like I think when you trust someone, you respect them, and that's like it's like mutual.
Yeah, that's a big part of how I choose who we work with as well. I'm incredibly cautious about working with new people. So yeah, there's got to be that mutual trust and respect if I'm gonna agree to do an event with you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And all of it, a lot of it is like it takes teamwork. So, and especially like you said earlier, like a lot of it helps that a lot of it does boil down to like a same like-minded goal, but having that trust, and even if it's like under times of duress or running behind or something like that, like working together and knowing that you'll be able to rely on said other person is like, yeah, very much so crucial and key. It does take a village. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aw, thanks for getting ushy mushy with me, y'all. I love this stuff. So we do have a question in the Discord. Someone asked if you could have any artist play on your system, who would it be? It could be from any genre, you please.
Jay Kenzo.
Nice.
Yeah. Hands
Jay
down.
Kenzo, if you're listening to this.
Yeah. I think there was actually, I got really close to, it was when we were doing the Diving Deep series at the Loft. It was right before COVID hit. The next one that was scheduled was going to be Jay Kenzo. And I was so over the moon about it. And then COVID happened and everything shut down. It got canceled.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would, I mean, even without, I was so close to the opportunity. But even if I hadn't have been, that would still be my answer. He's been like my number one influence as far as bass music artists go.
Nice.
How about you guys?
Chrome Star.
Oh
Yeah, Chrome Star.
yeah, Chrome Star, Square Wave, Shook Knight,
Yeah.
any of those. New World Audio, like that would be incredible.
Yeah, just like the more classic dubstep people we can get on, like that's what I want. Yeah.
The classics. What about for you, Nate?
if I could pull anyone, well, that's for sure. If I could, Skint Disco. He's based overseas. And then as far as locally goes, I want to have Microdot play on the system. I don't know if he's played or when the last time he played. It would have been before I was working.
Yeah, we've done sub reinforcement for Microdot at the Loft, and that was a crazy night. There's actually a couple of videos of that on our Instagram. If you scroll way down, you'll find some videos where the audio is just clapped out. But yeah, I would love to have him on the full stack. That would be incredible. Mm-hmm. Same with Prophet. I've done sub reinforcement for Prophet, but I've never been able to do like just Prophet on the rig, and I would really love that.
Nice. Now, for anybody that's like just diving into all of this, dubstep, UK, garage, everything, someone who's just getting into this music and doesn't know many of these names you're mentioning, how would you suggest people expand their like music library and like kind of like find more of these kind of like underground subgenres we talk about?
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp.
I think one of the best places to dig. super sneaky DJ trick. Your favorite artists like us on SoundCloud. That's a very good place to find tunes.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, I mean, if you're just getting into it, find someone you like that is active on social media, SoundCloud, stuff like that, and kind of like see what they're listening to. That's like, I think something Paul was talking about earlier is like your favorite artist, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that you can kind of see, you know, where the lineage goes, I suppose. Like when I first started getting into dubstep and just like, I think we talked about this on the last one, but I got into electronic music through like the Comcast music channel. You know what I mean?
We did talk
And
about
it's like, I didn't even know how to look this up. You know, it was like I just had to turn on the channel, and then I think when I was old enough to like look stuff up on YouTube, it was just like YouTube, you know, suggested stuff, and then Bandcamp, and then just I think like watching people mix too. Like a lot of the older Get Darkers have the track lists on there.
Yep.
Like it just like Mixcloud is really good for that too. Hey, buddy.
Yeah, I was gonna say Get Darker. That was my personal path. Like watching the episodes and then finding the link to the track list, and then like that's just a treasure mine right there. Just go down the list and look up everybody's SoundCloud and Bandcamp profile and just go from there. That was a great place to really dig up the classic stuff.
Yeah, I like the idea of looking at other people's what they're listening to. That's huge. And it's all right there. Thank you, social media. All right. Oh, we got another question. Let me pull it up. Someone says, can we please talk about relation and the camp out? Relation?
I'm not sure the camp out though. That was something that we organized back in
2017.
Yeah, I think it was 2017. It was an event. It was the first event that I organized myself. All of the artists I reached out to personally and paid personally. I spent about $6,000 just on DJ bookings and travel. It was in early May. And so the weather was like not great. It was kind of cold and rainy. But we had a big bonfire going, and we brought a bunch of soup and like burger patties and just cooked food all weekend. All the money from tickets, all the money that we made selling food, any cent that was put into that event went to the property owners. And at the end of the event, they still were expecting more money from me, which was not part of the original agreement. So that turned into a rough situation. And that is why we don't do any events out there anymore. But it's funny because people will see me at events and thank me for that camp out. Like everyone had such an amazing time. But for us behind the scenes, it was an absolute nightmare. I was losing my mind that whole weekend. It was really, really hard. But I'm so happy that it touched so many people and that everyone has like a positive memory of that event and had a good experience there. I'm so glad that we made that possible for them, and we learned a lot of really hard lessons that weekend. And moving forward, that's why I don't organize events anymore.
Fair. I think that is, there's just so much room for so many things to go wrong with event organization, and it's a stressful place to be in. But I don't know. Hopefully, it lightens it a little bit, knowing that it meant so much to so many people.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for that, and it always brings a smile to my face when somebody brings up what a good time they had there. I'm so glad that they had a good experience, and it was great. Like the lineup we had, all the people involved, like we had a really fun time. But at the end of the day, I lost a lot of money, and it ruined some friendships, and it was rough.
Oh man!
But sometimes that's the price you have to pay.
Yeah. I'm absolutely loving all this kitty love y'all are getting right now.
It's ridiculous. So fortunate.
Oh, baby.
Yeah,
Well,
camp out was not fun. Not good. I am really glad people had a lot of fun, but it made me immediately respect the amount of effort that goes into festivals and stuff like that, because like as someone who's pretty impulsive and my buddy's like, hey, let's host a camp out, it seems like pretty like A to B. It's like we bring the sound system there, we find a place, and then our friends come with tents and we charge them $20 or something. Like, it's, you know, it's like it's that simple, and it's not like not at all. Even like one night is like not simple. So yeah, it just immediately puts so much stuff into perspective, and like, you know, you feel really vulnerable with like that much stuff going on. That's kind of like all on you, or you as a team if anything goes wrong. And you kind of like realize how much stuff you don't have when you need it, when it's there.
Yep.
How much stuff, how bad it could have been is something that I think about a lot. But it was fine. It was all good. Like, everything was chilling. Like, wasn't a big deal. But like, people had fun. It's over. You know.
Yeah. I had to borrow a can of gas just to get off the property at the end of the day.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it was real fun.
Is there an event that stands out for y'all from like an organizational level and a behind the scenes level that really stands out as one that went great? That is like, wow, it couldn't have gone more smooth. Like, all of our ducks were in a row.
Any of the events we've done with Culminate have felt that way.
Every single one.
Every single one without fail. I personally, I think of the events we do at the aquarium out in Fargo. There's like 3 flights of stairs going up to that room, and they're not big stairs. They're like narrow stairs. And but every time without fail, like just a dozen people jump up and are like, oh, can we help? Can we help? And like everyone's so good about like bringing the equipment in, bringing the equipment out when it's over. The venue itself has been really lenient with me and like letting me leave stuff there overnight if it's been a long night, and like, yeah, you can come back tomorrow and get it. It's no big deal.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's just when you don't even have to ask for help and people just jump up and are willing to do heavy lifting, literally.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for that.
You took the next question right out of my mouth. But what makes it a good event in that sense? Yeah, it's really awesome to hear that community kind of, trickles out in every way. Well, Jenna, do we have any more tracks to play?
Did we play Patience?
Yep.
Yes.
I think that was the first one we played.
Yeah, but you know what? Why don't we, let's put a pause on a song, since that's the one we got left. And let's play that one out at the end for those that weren't here in the beginning. Y'all, is there anything else you want to share that maybe I didn't ask on that you want our listeners to kind of know, or some final like parting thoughts you want to leave with them?
If anybody's curious about where the black and yellow color scheme from,
Yes.
yes, the answer is Wiz Khalifa. 100% unironically. It was a big discussion we were having, because at first there wasn't any paint on the bins, and then we did like a little bit of black paint, and we had a big sit down like, well, Void does black and red, and Turbo Sound does blue, and Function 1 is purple, and we just couldn't really figure one out. And I just like put my playlist on, and on came black and yellow, and I was like, you know what? This is it.
I've noticed some bananas with a couple. Is it just because they're yellow as well,
so the high horns up at the top, we affectionately refer to those as the banana horns, because I bought those off eBay, and they arrived in like banged up like condition with like this weird green color, and I was like, nah. And went to the hardware store, got a bunch of cans of yellow spray paint, and banana horn.
Nice. Yeah, I noticed both of y'all are wearing some Head in a Bin merch. Is this available to folks if they want to buy some?
Unfortunately, no.
Exclusive.
So what happened was, so during COVID, I was looking for ways to like keep the brand relevant, even though I had no idea what the future was going to look like.
Yep.
And so I partnered with some friends of ours who are opening an online merch store, and they were so great. It was a good experience up until when orders started coming in. It turns out that the warehouse was not able to meet demands, and there was all kinds of like supply chain issues and this, that, and the other. So it got to the point where people were hitting up my personal Facebook, like asking me about their orders, and I had no control over any of it.
Yeah.
All the money that went into the store went into maintaining the store and keeping it open. I didn't get any money from sales. I personally ordered a bunch of stuff for myself and my family that I never received, and it was just a big bummer. But the stuff that we were able to get our hands on, we wear it proudly, and hopefully someday we will figure out like a new way to make that available. In the meantime, Roots and Branches, our friends here locally, have done a couple custom runs of stuff for us, like my coat that I was wearing when I came in. They screen printed that for me. They did the Rooted Through Sound design, and sometimes they'll come to our events and make some of that available.
Nice.
But that's really it right now, unfortunately.
They have an online store as well, so I think the Rooted Through Sound design is still on there.
Okay, nice.
I feel like I saw it like last time I was looking. But shout out Roots and Branches. I mean, they have like a bunch of amazing stuff, just all upcycled, like community driven. Yeah.
Yes. If people were looking for ways to support y'all, what ways can they support you?
Turn out.
Yeah, just come to shows.
Yep.
Support the event, and that supports us. Support the scene, and that supports the events. So
yeah. What's the best way to find y'all's events? Do you keep updated Facebook or which email list? What's the best?
I'm most active on Instagram. I usually only post when we have an event or like a system upgrade or something that's worth mentioning is going on. I don't really post just to post. But that being said, if there is an event or anything coming up, that's where you'll hear about it first. I'll post it on Instagram as soon as it gets announced.
Nice.
And that's just also a fun place to follow a lot of sound systems all over the world and see what everybody's up to. That's the platform I use the most, I think.
Cool. We'll have to throw your Instagram handle in the Discord chat for folks.
For
so
sure.
They can go ahead and find that.
Yeah, it's just head.inna.bin.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. Well, sweet. Well, yeah. Thanks so much, you guys, for being on the show and chatting with us about all of this. This has been very eye-opening for me. I'm like, I feel like I know a little more what's going on. So, thank you for that. And, everybody keep an eye on their Instagrams, on the Instagram for their next events. It sounds like they got a lot of stuff in the works, but nothing quite released. So I'm sure you'll hear it there first. Cool. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So next week, we are going to be taking the night off to attend the first ever Breakers Paradise. This is a monthly show or a monthly dance party, as they describe it, at the Terminal Bar in Northeast Minneapolis. It's going to have local artists such as Cosmic Bitch, M. Golan, Gen Symmetry, and Borealis. So we're going to do that next Wednesday, and we're going to get off the airwaves and go and support out that local scene and see what they're up to over there. But before next Wednesday, this weekend, This Is Perfect Harmony is going to be at Hotel Minnesota, the 19th and the 20th, taking place at the Crown Plaza West over in Plymouth, Minnesota. It's a 2-day music festival hosted, inside a hotel with Americana, bluegrass, folk, rock, hip-hop, electronic, literally everything. There's a little bit of everything for everyone. We're going to be doing live festival radio from the event. You can go ahead and either attend the event, come say hey. We'll be doing some giveaways and hanging out. Or you can tune into this station right here, the way you're listening to this episode, and listen to our live broadcast from the event. I'm super stoked for this event. We've now covered it for 4 years. So we're really excited about what they're doing over there. So come see us over there. You can find all that on Facebook. That'll be the best place. Or just Google Hotel Minnesota, like SNOWTA. But hotel in the front. Anyway, you'll find it. Just come hang out with us. We'd love to have you there. Thank you so much to Fuzz Talk Radio for always letting us host our show on his station. Y'all can tune into this station 24/7 for local Minnesota music and artists. This is the place to be. There's shows on almost every other night of the week, I think, except for Friday and Saturday, which is why we're doing our little Hotel Minnesota takeover. If you want to show him your appreciation, you can go to fuzztalkradio.com, buy a t-shirt, buy Fuzz a coffee. His merch is really cool, and he just updated it. We're big fans. And if you want to support us, you can go to thisisperfectharmony.com. We have a donate button on the right side of the page. Help us keep our content free. Keep it about the music, about the fun, about the things we're excited about. Yeah, and thank you to Head and a Bin for being here, and thank you for Culminate Presents for the fun technology tonight. Let us know if you heard a difference. We think we did. Yeah, cool. Paul, you got anything else for us?
I did have one more thing to mention.
Yes.
We did recently have a new merch design drawn up for us by Taylor Rose. And so look for that on the horizon. We might be offering that on like some t-shirts, sweatshirts, that kind of thing. I'm not sure what the plan is for the range of products we'll be able to offer, but we're working on it.
Can I put a vote in for stickers?
Yeah. Stickers happen every once in a while. I think at least 2 of our crew members have a cricket.
Okay,
or
nice.
Circuit or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So yeah, but again, like just come to the events. If we have anything at all merch wise, it'll be at an event.
Yes. Nate, were you gonna say something?
Oh, I was just going to add an addendum. Big up Danny and Adriana for doing stickers and stuff like that. There should be some coming out pretty soon.
Yes. Okay. Dibs on a couple of them. I have a problem.
We got you.
All right. Well, Jenna, let's give this free download track another play. Everybody, this is Paradise. It's a Head in a Bin song, and we have the link to it in our
Patience.
Sorry. Patience. I'm just like thinking about this weekend and Paradise. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, you can download this song for free. It's on SoundCloud. The link for it will be in our Discord. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see y'all when we see y'all, because we don't have another show exactly sort of lined out. Okay, yeah, take it away at the music, Jenna. Thanks, y'all.